Right, let's do some big enclosure stuff. What's going on, guys? My name's Jamie. This is the Norwich Reptile shed. It's in pieces at the moment. I'm currently kind of in build mode, ripping stuff out and doing things like that. So this is part one of my Royal Python vivarium. I'm going to talk you all through what I've done so far, the story behind why it looks like it does and why it's sort of half finished but also has dead plants in it, the equipment I'm going to use, and let's talk about the way I'm going to go through and start finishing this one off. Okay, so as you can see, this Viv has been built for about a year now. The shell of it has been up for a year. Can't remember exactly when I did the rock work on it, but before I did any of the electrics, or me and my friend did any of the electrics in here, I needed to build the carcass so I knew where all the plug sockets were going to go. So this was one of 4 enclosures that I built when we first did it. So I had it running. I had it running to what I thought was the final product. Got this part in here with all the glass. That's all good. We had soil in here. We didn't have electrics, the equipment in there too much. So that is kind of the next step as well on this. And all that was kind of missing was the heat and the glass. And then the summer came along and ants came in through Daisy's door, and this was infested with ants. So I stripped the whole thing out, back down to the liner that's inside it, and that's where we are now. I suppose technically the worst bit about this is I built most of the cool stuff, i.e. the carcass and the rock work, before I thought doing YouTube videos would be a thing. So I'm going to try and backtrack a little bit and show you how I did some of the stuff. It involves doing some repairs anyway to the rock work, so hopefully we can cover that. It needs to be done. First things first, I want to double check my measurements here. So I was still toying with basically limiting the height of the glass into the actual sliding glass. So it's hard to tell exactly on this video, but this is 5 foot long, it's 6 foot tall, and it's 3 foot deep on this side and about 2 foot deep on this side. So it's a giant enclosure. Really cool size. You can stand in there and all that kind of fun stuff. And what this is intended for is my Royal Python. Crazy, some might think. I think it's awesome. I know for a fact that she's going to use it to climb. And if she doesn't want to climb, I thought of that too. So under that corner there, just there, is a basking spot. Okay, so I've hidden that with some of the rock stuff. So there will be a basking spot here. It'll be just off of the ground, as well as all the stuff that we're going to do in here arborally, you know, so if she was up in the air, then she will still be heated. That is going to be done by this Reptile Systems dome fixture. The guards down there as well, it's going to all be guarded up. I'm going to hang that off of the ceiling somewhere, depending on how, once I'm comfortable with the logs and the branches in there, I'm then going to hang a heat lamp in there for her, probably down this corner, trying to avoid this piece of rock here, so and make it quite difficult for them to get near it. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit of planning. What else have we got in here? We've also got a Ferguson Zone 2 UVB. So the actual where's the fitting? The fitting's up here. Ugh. So we've got the fitting up there. So I mean, if we just went by the tube size, that's gonna come up here, probably mount on this this beam that I've got running along there, and then that's going to provide ample amounts of UVB. So that's going to be coupled with my that's loose. That's going to be coupled with my standard LED light fittings that I'm fitting in all my custom enclosures, plus halogen heat lamps as well. So we've got a good mix of UVA, UVB, and all the spectrum that we get from the LED stuff as well. So what is the plan of attack? First of all, I'm going to get rid of that. That's rubbish. That's coming out. Don't like the idea of that. I think it looks rubbish. Might put something in its place eventually once there's more stuff in there, but for now I'm going to get that out of my way. So first things first is I need to finalise this plinth along the top. By that I mean I'm going to measure down to the bottom plinth, make sure it's all nice and level, so when I put the glass in, I know there isn't going to be a tight spot or a really loose spot, you know. So I want to get it within a few millimeters of each other, so I can do that with my tape measure. Once I've done that, I can varnish this. I can then put my tracks on. Then I can think about the electrics. So I can put my UVB stuff up here. I won't do the heat for now. As we said, we've got another heat spot here. That's the cable for that's running all behind that, and it's just up on the top there. So that's just going to be either put in a junction box or fitted to a plug on an extension lead, and that'll be tied into the other heat lamp in there as well. So that'll come on before the main lights and the UVB comes on. So that's that. We next have to, once we've got the tracks in, we can then measure the glass, get that ordered up, get that ready to go. We've got to drill some vents. We've got no ventilation in here at the moment, and then we can start thinking about what we're going to fill this with again. As I say, I threw away all the old substrate. It was covered in ants, covered in ant and eggs and all that sort of stuff. So all of the substrate in here just got thrown outside into the compost pile. I've got the big log that goes in here. I'm going to put a big log in here, and then I'm going to go out and probably find some more branches and put some more branches in here, some horizontal stuff, because I am 100% sure she is going to sit up in the air. So once we've got the glass ordered up, so we can do the electrics, we can do the vents, we can get the... what's next? Plant in. We'll put our plants back in there. I've got some plants still kept from here, so I've got this big alocasia. This thing didn't do very well, but it might perk back up. We've got a big philodendron that all died off, but that's perking back up as well. And then we've also got some repairs to do from where I ripped everything out. So you see we've got some big sort of chunks taken out of the grout, so I will mix up some grout. We'll sort of put that back in, and we'll colour that as well. So that'll be a thing. We'll do that, and then just a general clean up. We've got to put the actual heat lamp in there, so I'm going to change that out. At the moment I've got a cheap one in there, and I'm going to replace that with a one that I can rely on. And then also up here on here somewhere, I am going to put a deep heat projector as well, just to help bring the ambient temperature up. The whole reptile room itself stays pretty hot anyway, so my ambient temperatures are absolutely fine. In fact, that's evidence that my ambient temperatures are sometimes a little bit too much, but so I'm not too worried about the ambient temperatures in here, because I say the whole room is a decent ambient temperature. So the deep heat projector is going to be there on a thermostat just in case. That's my plan. Let's get cracking. Okay guys, I think that'll do it for part 1. In part 2 I will finish up doing the door tracks, as I've got to wait for the stain, the second coat of the stain to dry, and then we will crack on with repairing the rock work. We'll get some glass ordered and we'll start to put the branches in and all of the soil and plants and that sort of stuff. So oh, and some vents and some ventilation. We're going to do that. Yeah, thanks for following along with this one, and I'll see you in part 2.